Welcome back to the panel discussion, What You Need in a Government Cloud You Can Trust, sponsored by Microsoft on Federal News Radio 1500 AM and federalnewsradio.com. My guest is Tom Keane. He is the General Manager on the Microsoft Azure team in the Cloud and Enterprise Division at Microsoft. Tom, good to have you on.
Thank you, Tom, for having me.
And so let's talk about some of the investments in security and compliance. Those are big questions for every organization, certainly true of government. What are some of the security? Let's start with security and then we'll go to compliance, although there's a lot of compliance connected with security.
Absolutely. First of all, Tom, Microsoft is investing billions of dollars in the cloud. We're building data centers, we're buying hardware, we're laying down network, we're making a massive investment in cloud. And in government, we're doubling down on that investment. We've built physical facilities just for government customers across state and local, federal, and even the Department of Defense. And in order to help meet the unique security and compliance needs of government, we've done some extra work. We've isolated those facilities so that only government customers reside inside those facilities. Only people who are inside the continental United States operate those facilities. Those people have unique security clearances and other controls to help guarantee that the people that are operating the service are meeting the unique security requirements of government. So we've really taken an investment that we're making on a global basis, and then we've doubled that down for government to meet unique government requirements.
So it sounds like you might have gone a step or two beyond what's even required by FedRAMP.
Absolutely. So with our government cloud, we started at a very simple level where we said we want to meet the requirements of state and local, federal, and even the Department of Defense. And we've seen a lot of success in the state and local area, and we're moving very successfully into the federal government today, and we're even now starting to work with Department of Defense. So the investments that we've made at a foundational level, we believe set us up very successfully to go and enter lots of markets.
Now, the Defense Information Systems Agency, which was going to be the cloud, decided it's not going to be the cloud, but it might be the go-between between commercial cloud providers and government customers. What are some of the unique requirements and how are you meeting those that are demanded by DISA?
Well, as you mentioned, compliance regimes, security requirements evolve over time. The different threats evolve over time as we see different scenarios play out. And at Microsoft, we've taken an approach of meeting literally hundreds of different controls, and we add to those controls over time. They relate to where we store your data, who can access your data, how we protect your privacy, how we physically control the facility and the access to the facility, how we respond to a security incident. And with each of those controls, the approach that Microsoft has taken is we take the highest possible bar. So if there is a set of different standards, we will meet the highest standard. So as new standards evolve in, say, DISA or in FedRAMP or in any other part of the environment, we will simply take the highest bar, which means that we can meet the requirements for, say, a state and local government. We can meet the requirements for our federal government, whether they're storing, for example, information around an end user or personal information, or be it even backup data. And then we can also meet the standards, for example, for unclassified data in the Department of Defense. So by making that additional investment, by doubling down, we believe we can meet the requirements of anyone, be it the federal government, be it someone storing tax data, or someone storing very sensitive information.
Now, sometimes there's collaboration among levels of government, say in law enforcement, for example, where you would have a state, a local, and a federal entity, possibly, maybe even a defense entity, all in a single environment. Can that be accommodated such that they have a secure way to collaborate?
It absolutely can. And we see a lot of work where there's collaboration between state and local and federal. The work that we've done with our CGIS compliance and our FedRAMP compliance means that whatever the requirement, be it for a police department in Los Angeles or a police department in New York, they can collaborate very effectively, for example, with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And then they can pass information back and forth in a secure and a compliant way. And they can even do it across their own network. So they don't have to, for example, transfer information across the internet.
Let's talk about the word Azure for a moment. That's the name of the product. But what does it signify? It's more than just infrastructure as a service. So what is it?
Azure is really two things when I talk to customers. One is it's Microsoft's cloud platform. It's what we provide to all of the Microsoft technology. So Office 365, CRM, Bing, all of our Microsoft services build on top of that cloud platform. And that's what we're investing billions of dollars around the world, building that platform really like a utility, like electricity, water, or power. Second is it's a utility that we provide and sell to customers. We can provide base level core storage all the way through to finished services, streaming video, mobile services, big data, analytics, machine learning. There's a whole set of capabilities that we provide. So for a customer that's, for example, in the federal government looking to store data, we can store data. What we can also then do on top of that data is start to provide intelligence and value. We can detect patterns inside that data. We can democratize the data.
Tell us about ExpressRoute and what that is and how that benefits government agencies.
So with ExpressRoute, what we allow a customer to do is to connect their network directly into Microsoft's network. So if a customer today is, for example, sending large information directly into the cloud, they can then connect directly from their network, the edge of their network, into the edge of Microsoft's network. So rather than sending information across the internet, this gives them a direct and a high bandwidth way to connect into us, either on the East Coast or in the West Coast. And this is something that's super valuable for a lot of customers that are connecting directly and sending a lot of traffic and have made big investments in network. So we're saying don't replace those investments, build on those investments as you connect to the cloud. So what this actually means, really in simple terms, is it allows a customer's data center to be the edge of our cloud. So we allow a customer to continue to make their investments in their own data center, and they can leverage our data center with technology like ExpressRoute.
And the next big push, especially when it comes to the Defense Department and DISA, is you said you're at L2 security level at this point. L4 and L5 is still kind of the holy grail for cloud providers. Where do you stand on the spectrum headed toward that?
You're right. Level 4 and Level 5 are important areas that we're investing in. We're working on right now. We absolutely want to meet the needs of the Department of Defense and the defense industrial base and store that data in our cloud, and that's work that we're doing right now. And we don't have anything to announce today, but I expect we will very soon.
But it's a pretty rigorous process, and they probably come and look at the facility and physically visit and look at the controls you have in place.
Absolutely, and we host a very large number of auditors and third-party people that can come and attest that we meet the right physical security controls, the right logical controls, the right operational controls. And in fact, this is something we do not just in government, but we do it around the world. So we actually have over 30 different compliance certifications and attestations today, which means that we've had people come in from, say, and look at our data center in Singapore or our data center in the United Kingdom. We do the same thing here with our dedicated and isolated cloud in the United States, where we can bring in a neutral third party that can attest that Microsoft is meeting the standards that the federal government has set out.
All right, Tom Keane is the general manager on the Microsoft Azure team in the Cloud and Enterprise division at Microsoft. I'm your moderator, Tom Temin, on What You Need in a Government Cloud You Can Trust, sponsored by Microsoft, here on federalnewsradio.com and Federal News Radio 1500 AM.